Hey everyone, today I wanted to do a review of a holster that I've used a lot, and this is the Galco King Tuk holster. This is a hybrid holster, basically meaning it's got a leather interior that actually goes up against your body, and it's got a Kydex exterior. Now, the reason I really like hybrid holsters is I like the amount of retention you get with a Kydex holster. I also like the amount of consistency that you get with a Kydex holster, basically meaning you're not going to have to worry about this flexing at all and complicating your holstering at all. So I love the idea behind the hybrid holsters, and so far of all the ones I've tried, this one is by far my favorite. Now, I wore this holster just about every day for well over a year. I had an amazing experience with it and I still really like it. However, me personally, I've kind of transitioned over to the appendix style of carry, and in so doing I've kind of gotten rid of my 4 o'clock holsters, at least as far as carrying every day. But first, let me go and walk you through the features of it. So again, like I said, you got the leather backing with the Kydex front. As far as on the inside, everything is nice and smooth, so you're not going to have to worry about anything poking you. As you can see where the clips are held on, it's nice and smooth on the inside as well. So again, you're not going to have to worry about anything stabbing you, poking you, anything like that. As far as the belt clips, you have 2 screws down here, so it's not going to swivel at all. Same on both sides. And then again, you do have this clip here. Now, generally speaking as well, one thing I've transitioned to is I really like belt loops as opposed to belt clips, because as I'll discuss later, I have had issues with this actually coming off when I draw my gun. Now, as far as what this one is made for, as you can even tell from how well it's been pressed in against my gun, this is made for a Glock. Specifically, this one is for my Glock 19, but it will also fit, so this is my Glock 19. As you can see, covers the trigger guard well enough that nothing's going to get in there. But because of the way Glocks are, this will also fit a Glock 17, or as I have here, a Glock 26, no problem. You know, same fit on each of them. And then it'll also work with all the 40 caliber Glock, so the 22, 23, 27, it'll work with all those. And again, the retention is going to be, in my opinion, perfect on each of them. You can even tell that I have aftermarket sights on this Glock. These are the Ameriglow iDot Pros, which I really like. And again, there's no issue with being able to draw or reholster with that. Another thing is I have a extended slide lock from Tango Down with Larry Vickers. That extended one, I really like it, and that doesn't impede holstering whatsoever, just because it's not covered up. And then you can also see I still have access to my magazine release in this position, which is something I like. So this has actually gotten in the way. One holster specifically, it makes it kind of a pain to actually reholster, so just letting you know that's not an issue on this one specifically. Now, one thing about the retention on this is while it holds the gun very securely, it's not so much that that it is difficult to draw. I'll even roll in some video of me using this holster. The video's from a while ago, so I apologize if the quality isn't as good, but as you'll be able to see, I'm very easily able to draw from this holster and reholster without looking. And again, that comes back to the fact they have the Kydex outer part here, which is going to maintain that openness, so you don't have to worry about taking this holster off in order to reholster. So that's, again, something that I really like. One thing I failed to mention earlier is you can see that this sweat guard is full length. So let me go and throw this back in there. So you don't have to worry about your sights or any part of your slide making contact with your body. That's going to protect you fully, if that's something that you're looking for. So a nice feature there as far as making sure it's comfortable. Now, one thing I want to point out too is, as I said, I wore this just about every single day for well over a year, and it's really no worse for wear than it was when I took it out of the box. I have had one screw come a little bit loose at one point, but I put a little Loctite on there and haven't had that issue since. So I have no doubt that if I were to continue to use this holster, it would last for probably well over another year, on into a 3rd year probably, without any issue. Galco makes very quality holsters, so it should come as no surprise that this again is going to stand the test of time. Now, one important thing to me when it comes to a concealed carry holster, whether that be something you're going to carry every day or something you just wear occasionally, is it has to be comfortable. If your holster isn't comfortable, you're not going to carry, and if you're not going to carry, then, you know, what's the point in having a concealed handgun license? So again, this is probably the most comfortable holster I own. Again, it has very soft leather on the inside that fits well against your skin. And then with the sweat guard, again, you have nothing jabbing into you, nothing poking into you. It's a very comfortable holster. It sits nice and flat against your body, so you don't have to worry about something sticking out too much. And because, again, it's leather, it's going to form to your body a little bit more. It has a little bit more flex. Now, I have tried some of the neoprene-backed hybrid holsters, and they're not as comfortable in my opinion, so I really like the leather ones, specifically this Galco King Tuk. Another thing I should mention real quick, the reason it's called the King Tuk is you can actually tuck your shirt behind the clips. So if you have to really conceal your firearm and you want to be able to tuck in your shirt while you're carrying with this, you can actually tuck your shirt in behind you here so that the only part showing is your belt clips. So it's going to have a much higher propensity of not being noticed if you have to tuck your shirt in, whether you're, at work, at church, or whatever the deal is where you're having to dress up. This is going to help with that. So as far as the cons of this holster, really the only one I've experienced up to this point is I can probably count on one hand the number of times, but it has happened where when I draw my firearm, my holster comes out with it. Typically when that happens, it's only going to happen when I'm like in a seated position or something like that. For whatever reason, that increases the likelihood that this holster will come out with a firearm. However, if you're prepared for that, you can very easily swipe it off without any issues. But that's just something to consider. I'm sure there's a way where you can swap these belt clips out for something a little bit more secure, or maybe even belt loops. I'm not sure if that's an option, but it might be something to look into. But really, that's the only complaint that I've had with this holster. This is a fantastic holster. Now, I know some of you out there are probably thinking, yeah, it's all well and good that it's a nice holster, but it's a little bit expensive. I can say from experience that when you're buying a holster, the saying "you get what you pay for" definitely comes into play. I've bought holsters that are much less expensive and have worked out very, very poorly. They were just very uncomfortable. They didn't hold up well. They didn't have good retention, or whatever the issues were. They just didn't stand up to what I needed them to do. Whereas this one, again, has been perfect for what I needed up until I changed my style of carry. Now, I still do carry this on occasion when I can't do appendix carry, or if I decide I'm going to carry two guns, what I'll do is I'll have this one and then one in the appendix position. And then another reason I've kind of gone away from this is I've started carrying my primary firearm, which is my Glock 19, with a weapon light. This specifically is the Inforce APL, a fantastic, fantastic light that if you're going to carry inside the waistband because of how slim it is. But again, because I carry a weapon light, that obviously won't work with this King Tuk. So again, while this holster may be a little bit expensive, it's definitely worth a price, especially for how long it's going to last and how well it's going to serve you. Now, I know they also make this holster for other firearms as well, so it's not just the Glock line. Pretty much any popular firearm that's out there, you can probably find a King Tuk for it. I'll go ahead and I'll put a link to Galco's website in the description so that you can go there and see for yourself what firearms they make this for. But again, if you like the idea of carrying inside the waistband in your 4 o'clock position or anything back there, I cannot recommend this holster highly enough. If you're on the fence about buying one of these, I would highly recommend that you just do it, bite the bullet, and I guarantee you will not be sorry. So if you've had one of these holsters before and you liked it or you didn't like it, I want you to share your experience in the comments below. Honestly, I think a lot of the time when people have a negative experience, it's more useful to hear those stories than people who just, love the heck out of these things. So again, feel free to share with us. If you have any questions or recommendations of other good holsters out there, feel free to throw those below as well. I'm always open to new ideas, new methods, new concepts, all that stuff. But I hope you were able to get something out of this video, and I appreciate you watching. Did that wrong.
Don't worry, I'm not recording.